Good morning. This is Seamus McCarthy, your favorite anti-theist, anti-statist, anti-government, ruthless rebel at your service today. This is the 4th of July, by the way. Thought I'd make a quick video over a cup of coffee. This is only my second cup, so I'm not quite awake yet. Yes, today is July 4th, 2014, and I thought I would make a quick video on a topic that I came across in a book that I was reading last night. Yes, boys and girls, I read books. It's something intelligent people do. This book happens to be called The Handbook for Rebels and Outlaws by Mark Mirabello. Hope I didn't chop that up too badly. So I was thinking about the fact that I don't pay the federal income tax. Yes, but who will build the roads? Suddenly, if everybody decided that they wanted to keep 100% of the money that they work to earn, we would have no roads in society, and society would generally crumble overnight somehow, is the rationale that most of you statists out there have and leap to when you run across somebody who goes against the status quo. But this particular topic that I wanted to make the video on today is on something that I had heard before in the past. I just didn't really ponder it too much. I came across it briefly and I didn't give it a whole lot of thought. Who knows why? Maybe I was busy, distracted, whatever. But it is the concept of the national dividend. Now, what is the national dividend? Well, according to Mark Mirabello, in his book, The Handbook for Rebels and Outlaws, which I recommend everyone who is into these concepts pick up and read. It is an excellent read, an excellent book. The national dividend is a concept developed by C.H. Douglas, an engineer. It was revised by Ezra Pound, the poet and outlaw thinker. According to the national dividend concept, every citizen should be declared a shareholder in the nation and should receive, by right, dividends on the gross national product, the GNP. Boys and girls, if you've listened to the radio and you know anything about the stock market or the stock exchange or bonds or anything about our financial system at all, then you should know what the gross national product is. Properly administered, Douglas estimated that a citizen would receive 5 times the amount a typical welfare recipient receives. 5 times the amount. That is in addition to whatever you work to earn, creating value for someone else and exchanging it for whatever medium of exchange is in existence. Today it's money, it's fiat currency, okay? You would receive 5 times the amount that a typical welfare recipient receives, in addition to, that is above and beyond, what you work to produce and exchange with other people. Individual citizens would receive extra pay or bonuses for activities that increased the efficiency or productivity of the national economy. Now, let's think about this concept for a minute and see if we can compare it to the reality of what happens today. Okay, let's say that you're a plumber. Joe Plumber goes to work every day, and maybe he makes, maybe he has a good job, maybe he's industrious, he's an entrepreneur, he has a customer base, and he makes $5,000 a month, okay? Now, in addition to his $5,000 a month, let's assume that the typical welfare recipient receives about $1,000 a month, which is not so far-fetched when you think about it. Single moms on welfare have to support those kitties that they keep popping out so that they can continue to produce, emasculated, effeminate men later on in life who will be nice sheeple and obey every government order that they are given. Okay? Now, yes, I know I'm being rather facetious, but that is the result. Now, Joe Plumber goes to work and he earns $5,000 a month. On top of that, he receives his portion of the national dividend, bringing his complete total of potential earnings, if this were to be the case, up to $10,000 a month. Now, who can live on that? Who'd complain about that? That's being pretty well off. Okay? Now, I don't make anywhere close to $5,000 a month. But if I did, and I received just about that on the national dividend, my share of the national dividend, from contributing to society, from working, from paying into things like welfare that single moms raising their effeminate little boys receive every month from the government, it's not actually free money. You and I, out there who are in the working world, pay for that. Okay? Now, what is the reality of today? Now, I understand that in the beginning of this video, I stated that I do not pay the federal income tax. I have not paid it in 15 years, in fact. I do not report my income to the IRS. And I'll be happy to tell any IRS agent this. In fact, they already know this. This is not something new. I have spoken with them before, and sure, one day, eventually, I am sure I will wind up in the justice system over this matter. But that's okay. I'll deal with that bridge when I come to it. So, what is the reality of today? Does Joe Plumber go to work and earn his $5,000 a month and then receive an additional $5,000, which should be his share of the national dividend from the gross national product? No. Instead, what he does is he goes to work and he earns his $5,000 a month. Then he is taxed on that money. Okay? After he is taxed and he pays the federal income tax on that $5,000 a month, depending on whether he has kids or what deductions he can take out, etc., he loses money that he worked to earn. In other words, the product of his labor is stolen from him. He is not compensated on his share of the gross national product. Instead, he is robbed. Now, is he robbed just that one time when the federal income tax, when he pays his portion of the federal income tax and it comes out of his paycheck automatically because he isn't smart enough to go and reduce his withholdings to zero and claim exempt from his employer, or if he's self-employed, fill out the proper forms that will make it legal for him not to report his income to the IRS? Yes, boys and girls, that is possible. All you have to do is go down to a law library and pick up a book, specifically U.S. Code and the corresponding Code of Federal Regulations, and look up the appropriate sections and statutes that define exactly what he can and cannot do when it comes to reporting his income or not reporting his income as he may choose. So what happens? Joe Plumber goes to work, he earns his $5,000 a month. Right off the top, he gets robbed for a certain percentage of what he has worked to produce. Now, does he only get robbed that once? No. He gets robbed again every time he purchases something with that money. He gets robbed in the form of state tax, okay? State tax that goes to pay for Medicare, Social Security, welfare, a myriad of other things that he doesn't get a benefit from, okay? So basically, what we have in this country on July 4th, 2014, for those of you out there that actually work and produce something and contribute to society, you're being robbed. You're being robbed every day. You're being robbed week in, week out, month after month, year after year. Instead of receiving what you should be receiving, your portion of the national dividend for the gross national product, instead of receiving that, you're being robbed on what you do earn and what you do produce. Now, who is it out there that gets the gross national product, gets your share of the gross national product? Is it government? Not really. Is it the banks? Possibly. Is it the wealthy elite that control the banks and the financial systems in the world? Oh, there we go. Most certainly, yes. So a few wealthy elite take your share of the gross national product in the form of the national dividend that you should be receiving. Instead, they pocket that money and they take even more of what you earn, of what you work to produce. Just imagine, for a moment if you will, the vast amount of wealth that each citizen could have in this country, in America, not the United States, if you are a citizen. And that's an entirely different topic. I won't touch on that in this video. I don't claim to be a citizen. I am not a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. In other words, I am not a sheeple. I live independently. I work and earn my own money, and I keep 100% of it, and I decide how it gets spent. Well, that is true to a degree. I keep 100% of it as best I can. Of course, it's not 100%. There are some things that I just can't avoid. I don't have the knowledge or the skill to be able to argue why I should not be forced to pay for things like Social Security, welfare, things like that. And until I figure that out, of course, I'm going to be subject to paying those as well. And you might think, oh, well, this guy doesn't pay his fair share. You're right. I don't pay my fair share. I don't contribute to charities. I don't donate. I don't give away the money that I work to produce. That's mine. I've already paid my fair share by producing something of value and exchanging it with those who need that. And they in turn have agreed to pay me a certain amount of money in exchange for the value that I've produced for them. That's how I've already paid my fair share.